13. Have you ever wondered why, despite all the effort you put into your work, relationships, or personal goals, something still feels incomplete? Why do we keep chasing after external things, thinking they'll bring us happiness, only to find ourselves right where we started? What if the secret to real change and growth lies not in the outside world, but within you? What if the most important investment you could ever make is not in stocks or property, but in yourself? Imagine for a moment, you're walking down a familiar road, feeling stuck in your routine. You think about how much more you could achieve, but the weight of stress, doubts, and responsibilities hold you back. Yet, what if you chose to shift your focus inward, to invest your energy into your mind, body, and spirit? What could happen if you truly dedicated time to understand and improve yourself every single day? This journey isn't just about learning new skills or achieving goals. It's about transforming your entire way of being. It's about realizing that the power to change your life has always been in your hands. By reinvesting in yourself, you can break free from the cycle of frustration and start living a more meaningful, fulfilling life. Welcome to Wisdom Woven. This channel is dedicated to bringing you insights and wisdom that will help you create lasting change. If you've ever felt stuck or uncertain about how to improve your life, you're in the right place. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel to stay connected and receive valuable guidance on your journey. In this video, we're going to dive into why reinvesting in yourself isn't just an option, but a necessity for living a life of purpose and happiness. Get ready to discover how simple changes can create profound shifts in your life. Stay with us, and let's explore how you can make this powerful transformation starting today. Understanding the Buddhist approach to self-transformation. When we talk about self-transformation, the first thing we must understand is that real change begins within. It is not something that can be forced or hurried. It is a natural unfolding of understanding, patience, and awareness. In Buddhism, there is a beautiful teaching that says, "The mind is everything. What you think you become." This simple statement carries a deep truth. Our thoughts shape our reality, but what shapes our thoughts is the deeper connection we have with ourselves. The mind, in its natural state, is like a wild river, constantly flowing and changing. It is filled with desires, fears, and distractions. To begin our journey of self-transformation, we must first learn to observe this river of thought without judgment or attachment. We do not try to stop the river or fight against it. Instead, we learn to let it flow naturally while maintaining our awareness. This is the foundation of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to pay attention to the present moment fully and completely. It is the practice of being aware of what is happening right now without dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. In Buddhism, mindfulness is a path to liberation. By being mindful, we learn to recognize our habitual patterns, our reactions, and our attachments. These are the things that keep us stuck in cycles of suffering and dissatisfaction. In our daily lives, we often act on autopilot. We react to situations without thinking, we are consumed by distractions, and we forget to simply be present. But mindfulness teaches us to step out of this automatic way of living and into a state of awareness. When we are mindful, we begin to see things as they truly are, not through the lens of our past experiences or our desires, but as they are in the present moment. To understand self-transformation from a Buddhist perspective, it is important to recognize that suffering is an inherent part of life. This does not mean that life is filled only with pain, but rather that we all experience moments of loss, disappointment, and difficulty. It is part of the human condition. However, Buddhism teaches us that suffering does not have to control us. It can become a catalyst for growth and transformation. In the Buddhist tradition, there is a concept known as the Four Noble Truths. These truths guide us toward understanding the nature of suffering and how to transcend it. The first truth is that suffering exists. This might seem obvious, but it is an essential starting point. We cannot change what we do not acknowledge. When we admit that suffering is part of life, we stop denying it, and we create the space for real healing. The second truth is that suffering has a cause. According to Buddhism, the root of suffering is attachment and craving. We often hold on to things, whether they are material possessions, relationships, or even ideas about ourselves. This attachment creates a false sense of security, and when those things are threatened or lost, we experience pain. Our craving for things to be a certain way leads to disappointment and dissatisfaction. The third truth is that suffering can be overcome. This is the heart of Buddhist teachings. There is a way out of suffering. It is not something we wait for. It is something we actively pursue. The path to overcoming suffering is through letting go of attachment and craving, and through developing wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline. The fourth truth is that there is a path to freedom from suffering. This path is known as the Noble Eightfold Path. It is a guide for living a life of balance, mindfulness, and wisdom. It consists of right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. When we follow this path, we begin to transform not only our thoughts and actions, but also the way we experience the world. So how does this relate to reinvesting in yourself? The answer lies in the fact that transformation is a process. It does not happen overnight, and it does not happen through force. Reinvesting in yourself means taking the time to cultivate these qualities, mindfulness, wisdom, and ethical living, so that your mind and heart can gradually change. It means learning to let go of old patterns and attachments and allowing yourself to become more present and aware. As you begin to understand these truths, you will notice that your life starts to change. The pressure to be perfect, to achieve success, or to accumulate things begins to fade. Instead, you start to embrace the idea that true happiness and fulfillment come not from external accomplishments, but from inner peace and understanding. This is the power of Buddhist teachings. They invite us to return to our true nature, free from the illusions and distractions of the world. In Buddhism, there is a concept known as non-attachment, which is often misunderstood. Non-attachment does not mean that you do not care about the world or the people in it. It simply means that you do not cling to things in a way that causes suffering. You can love, care for, and enjoy life without holding on too tightly. When you practice non-attachment, you become more free, more flexible, and more at ease with the flow of life. This approach to life is not about rejecting the world or retreating from it. It is about living in harmony with the world as it is. When you reinvest in yourself, you begin to align your mind, body, and spirit with the natural flow of life. You stop fighting against the currents and start to move with them. This is the true path of self-transformation, allowing yourself to grow and change in harmony with the world, rather than in opposition to it. As you continue on this journey of reinvestment, remember that transformation is not linear. There will be ups and downs, moments of clarity and confusion. But each step you take brings you closer to understanding who you truly are. It brings you closer to the peace and joy that comes from within, not from outside circumstances. Ultimately, self-transformation is about becoming more of who you already are. It is not about becoming someone else or reaching some distant goal. It is about letting go of the layers of conditioning and false beliefs that cover your true nature. When you reinvest in yourself, you are not creating something new. You are returning to the source of your own being. In the Buddhist tradition, there is a saying, "The treasure you seek is already within you." This is the heart of self-transformation. The peace, the wisdom, the happiness, everything you seek is already inside you. The journey is not about finding something external, but about rediscovering the treasure within. Reinvesting in yourself is the key to unlocking this treasure and living a life that is truly fulfilling. Through mindfulness, wisdom, and non-attachment, you can begin to experience life in a new way. You will see that transformation is not something you have to force. It is something that naturally unfolds when you create the right conditions. By practicing the teachings of Buddhism, you are not just changing your life. You are awakening to the truth of who you are. Embracing mindfulness as your foundation. In the stillness of your mind, there is great power. You may not always realize it, but within each of us lies the potential to tap into a deep well of wisdom and peace. All too often, we live our lives in a rush, always moving from one task to the next, caught up in the endless demands of daily life. We feel as though we must keep going, pushing harder, achieving more, yet we are left feeling drained, disconnected, and overwhelmed. What if, instead of rushing, you allowed yourself to simply be? to stop and fully experience each moment as it is, without distraction, without judgment. This is the essence of mindfulness, being fully present in each moment, free from the constant chatter of the mind. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not just a practice, but a way of life. It is the foundation upon which we can build a deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us. By bringing our full attention to the present moment, we open ourselves to a world of peace and clarity. We stop clinging to the past or worrying about the future, and instead, we embrace the now with open arms. Mindfulness begins with the breath. The simple act of breathing in and breathing out is a gateway to presence. You might think, is it really that simple? Yes, it is. Often, we overlook the power of our breath because it is so automatic. But when we bring our attention to it, we can ground ourselves in the moment. As you breathe, feel the rise and fall of your chest. Notice the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. In these small moments, you reconnect with yourself, with life itself. You do not need to search for peace outside of yourself. It is already within you, waiting to be discovered through mindfulness. Now, imagine you are walking through your day, moving from one task to another. The typical reaction would be to hurry, to check things off your list, to anticipate what's coming next. But mindfulness invites you to slow down. It asks you to notice the details, the way the sunlight filters through the trees, the sound of your footsteps on the ground, the warmth of your hands. When you bring your attention to these simple things, life becomes richer. You realize that peace is not a distant goal, but something that can be found in the very act of living. Mindfulness also invites you to cultivate awareness without attachment. It is so easy to become entangled in our thoughts and emotions. We react automatically, often without questioning why we feel a certain way. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts and feelings with a sense of curiosity, as though we were watching clouds float by in the sky. Instead of getting lost in them, we simply notice them for what they are, passing phenomena that do not define us. By practicing this kind of awareness, we begin to let go of the weight of unnecessary thoughts and judgments. We create space for clarity and peace. In Buddhist teachings, mindfulness is closely tied to the concept of impermanence, the understanding that all things are temporary. When we realize that everything is constantly changing, it becomes easier to let go of attachments and expectations. You no longer need to hold on to a particular outcome because you understand that life is always unfolding in its own way. You become more at ease with uncertainty, knowing that you don't need to control everything. This is not about passivity, but about trust. Trusting that life, in its natural flow, will guide you where you need to go. The practice of mindfulness is not something you do only for a few minutes during meditation. It is something that can be woven into every aspect of your life. Whether you are washing dishes, listening to a friend, or simply sitting quietly, there is always an opportunity to practice being present. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Over time, mindfulness becomes the lens through which you see the world. You begin to notice how much beauty, wisdom, and peace are already present in your everyday life. Mindfulness also teaches you to be kind to yourself and others. In the silence of the present moment, you can hear the gentle voice of compassion. When you stop judging yourself or others, you begin to understand that we are all on a shared journey. We all have our struggles and imperfections. By practicing mindfulness, you cultivate a heart that is soft, patient, and understanding. You no longer see yourself as separate from others, but as part of the greater whole. This realization brings deep connection and peace. The more you embrace mindfulness, the more you begin to understand your true nature. You see that your mind is not a constant source of distraction, but a powerful tool for insight. You can access your deepest wisdom and intuition by simply quieting the noise around you. The practice of mindfulness helps you unlock your potential in a way that is grounded, real, and full of presence. It teaches you that true success in life is not about what you achieve, but how fully you show up for each moment. When you make mindfulness the foundation of your life, everything changes. You begin to act from a place of clarity and wisdom. You approach challenges with calmness and patience instead of fear and stress. You begin to make decisions with a sense of purpose, guided by what truly matters to you. You stop living on autopilot and instead you start living with intention. Mindfulness also helps you to understand your own desires and motivations. Without mindfulness, we often make decisions based on fleeting emotions or external pressures. But when you are mindful, you can pause and reflect before taking action. You ask yourself, is this truly aligned with my values? Is this what I really want? This practice of reflection allows you to live more authentically, making choices that are in harmony with your true self. To embrace mindfulness is to embrace life as it is, without trying to control or change it. It is about surrendering to the flow of existence and accepting the present moment as enough. In that acceptance, you find peace, freedom, and the ability to experience life in its fullness. Every step you take, every breath you take, becomes a practice of mindfulness. And in that practice, you are constantly growing, evolving, and becoming the person you are meant to be. As you continue on this journey, remember that mindfulness is not a destination, but a process. It is not something to achieve, but something to experience. Every day, you have the opportunity to practice. Every moment is a new chance to return to the present. The more you practice, the more you realize that the present moment is all you need. It is in the now that you will find peace, happiness, and the wisdom to live a life of meaning. Mindfulness is the key to unlocking your true potential. It is the foundation upon which all other personal growth can be built. By embracing mindfulness, you are reinvesting in yourself in the most powerful way possible. And with this reinvestment, your life will begin to transform in ways you could never have imagined. Breaking free from the cycle of suffering. Imagine you are standing on the edge of a vast, unending ocean. The waves are crashing, each one pulling you further away from the shore, dragging you into the depths of confusion and despair. You can feel the weight of your burdens, the constant pull of your thoughts, your worries, and your fears. You wonder, how did I get here? How do I find peace amidst this storm? This is the cycle of suffering many of us experience in our lives. It's an endless loop of craving, grasping, and chasing after things we believe will bring us happiness, but which only leave us feeling emptier and more restless. The more we try to escape, the deeper we sink. We are trapped not by external forces, but by our own minds. In Buddhism, this is known as samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. It's the cycle of suffering that we are all caught in. But the good news is that there is a way out. You don't have to remain in this storm forever. There is a path that leads to freedom, to a life of peace and clarity. The first step in breaking free from this cycle is to understand it. Why do we suffer? Why are we constantly in search of something more, something better? The answer lies in our attachment to desires. We crave things, experiences, and even people, believing that they will bring us lasting happiness. But what we fail to realize is that all things in this world are impermanent. They come and go, like the waves in the ocean, and when we cling to them, we are only setting ourselves up for disappointment. This is not to say that we should abandon our desires or live in a state of apathy. Rather, it's about understanding that true peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. When we stop chasing after fleeting things and begin to look inward, we find a deeper sense of fulfillment. We realize that the source of our suffering is not the world around us, but our own attachment to it. Let me tell you a simple story. There was once a wise monk who lived in a small village. One day, a young man came to him, frustrated and confused. He had been working hard all his life, trying to achieve success, to gain wealth, and to build a name for himself. Yet, despite all his efforts, he felt unfulfilled, empty inside. "Master," he asked, "why do I feel like I'm always running after something, but never reaching it?" The monk smiled gently and replied, "Imagine a man walking through the forest with a heavy sack on his back. He keeps walking, believing that the sack will give him what he needs. He moves faster and faster, thinking that the destination is just ahead, but no matter how far he goes, the sack only gets heavier. The man believes the sack is his burden, but what he doesn't realize is that the sack itself is what is holding him back. The moment he lets go, he is free." The young man was struck by the simplicity of the story. "But how do I let go?" he asked. The monk replied, "Let go of your attachments. Stop clinging to things that don't truly bring you happiness. Learn to live with less and appreciate the moment. Only then will you find peace. In our lives, the sack is often our attachment to things we think we need: money, success, recognition, and even relationships. But the truth is, these things do not define us. The more we chase them, the more we weigh ourselves down. The key to breaking free from suffering is to realize that we don't need to carry these burdens anymore. Now, I ask you to reflect. What are you holding on to in your life that is causing you pain? Is it a past mistake, a fear of the future, or a need to prove yourself to others? These attachments keep you trapped in the cycle of suffering. But the moment you recognize them and let go, you begin to break free. Let's explore this more deeply. Think about the nature of desire. We often desire things because we believe they will complete us, make us whole. But this is an illusion. The truth is, you are already whole. You don't need anything outside of yourself to find peace or happiness. This is a difficult truth to grasp, but once you do, it will change everything. Desire itself is not the problem. It's our attachment to desire that causes suffering. When you hold on tightly to what you want, it becomes a source of anxiety and stress. You fear losing it, and that fear only makes you cling harder. But if you can learn to enjoy life without becoming attached to the outcome, you will find freedom. Let's take a moment to practice this. Think of something you desire right now. It could be a new job, a relationship, or something material. Now, observe how it makes you feel. Do you feel tension in your body? A sense of longing? That is the feeling of attachment. Now, close your eyes and imagine letting go of that desire. Imagine it floating away like a leaf on the wind. Notice how your body feels lighter, your mind clearer. This is the peace that comes from releasing attachment. This doesn't mean you stop pursuing your goals or dreams. It means you do so without the need to control the outcome. You allow life to unfold naturally, trusting that whatever happens is what is meant to be. You no longer define your happiness by external circumstances. Instead, your happiness comes from within, from your acceptance of what is. By breaking free from the cycle of suffering, you begin to live with greater ease. You stop fighting against life and start flowing with it. The more you let go of the need for control, the more you will find that things begin to fall into place naturally. You may not get everything you desire, but you will find a deeper contentment, a sense of peace that doesn't depend on anything outside of yourself. This is the essence of true freedom. It's not about achieving something or reaching a certain place. It's about being at peace with where you are right now. The more you practice this mindset, the less you will be affected by the ups and downs of life. You will find that the storm, which once seemed so overwhelming, begins to calm. As you continue on your journey, remember that breaking free from suffering is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process of self-awareness, of recognizing when you are clinging to something that no longer serves you and letting it go. With each step, you will find greater peace, greater joy, and a deeper understanding of yourself. Now, take a deep breath and let go of any burdens you are carrying. Release the need for control, the need to prove yourself, the need to seek external validation. In this moment, just be, and in being, you will find the freedom that you have been seeking all along. This is the path of liberation. It is the path of peace. And it begins with one simple step: letting go, building resilience through detachment. Imagine a tree standing strong in the middle of a storm. The winds howl and the rain falls heavily, but the tree doesn't break. It bends with the wind, but never loses its roots. It stands resilient, unwavering, rooted deep in the earth. This is the power of resilience that we can cultivate within ourselves through the practice of detachment. Resilience is often thought of as the ability to withstand hardship or bounce back from adversity. But true resilience doesn't come from simply enduring pain or struggle. It comes from releasing our attachment to the things that cause us pain in the first place. In Buddhism, this is called detachment. It is the art of letting go of our attachment to outcomes, to people, to possessions, and even to our own ideas of who we should be. When we practice detachment, we allow ourselves to experience life without being overly influenced by it. We free ourselves from the grip of constant wanting, fear, and expectation. When you are attached to something, whether it's a desire for success, a relationship, or even a certain image of yourself, you become like a person holding tightly to a rope. The rope might be heavy, and the longer you hold on, the more it drains you. It creates tension and pulls you away from your true self. In the end, the rope may even break and you're left in pain. But when you let go, the tension dissolves and you are free. This doesn't mean you stop caring about your goals, relationships, or dreams. It means that you no longer allow them to control you. You are not defined by them. You act in life, but without attachment to the outcome. You plant the seed, water it, but don't obsess over when it will grow or what fruit it will bear. By letting go of your attachment to results, you release the pressure that weighs you down and allow life to unfold naturally. Detachment is not about indifference or becoming cold. It is about having a healthy perspective on life. It is about accepting that things change, people come and go, and life is full of uncertainty. When you hold on too tightly to things, you are fighting against the natural flow of life. You are trying to control what is beyond your control. But when you let go, you are in harmony with the present moment. You accept life as it is, rather than clinging to how you want it to be. This is where true resilience lies. It is in being able to stand firm like the tree in the storm, not because you are controlling the wind, but because you are not afraid of it. You bend, you sway, you move with the flow of life, but you remain rooted in your inner peace. When you let go of the things that no longer serve you, you create space for new things to enter your life. You become more adaptable, more open to change, and more capable of weathering life's storms. In our daily lives, we often face challenges that test our resilience. We face disappointments, losses, failures, in moments of uncertainty. It is easy to become attached to our desires for things to be different or for things to turn out a certain way. But when we allow ourselves to be attached to these desires, we create suffering. The more we want things to be different, the more dissatisfied we become with how things are. This dissatisfaction leads to frustration, stress, and unhappiness. To build resilience, we must learn to let go of these attachments. We must learn to accept that life is full of ups and downs, and that it's okay not to have everything figured out. This doesn't mean we stop striving or working toward our goals. It means we free ourselves from the need to control every outcome. We trust that whatever happens, we will be able to handle it because we are grounded in our own strength, our own sense of inner peace. One way to practice detachment is through mindfulness and meditation. When you sit in meditation, you begin to notice the thoughts that come and go. These thoughts are like clouds drifting across the sky. You don't try to control them or hold on to them. You simply observe them, allowing them to pass without becoming attached. In the same way, when you encounter difficult situations in life, you can observe them without becoming consumed by them. You can feel your emotions, but you don't let them define you. You can experience pain, but you don't let it break you. You can face challenges, but you don't let them steal your peace. As you practice detachment, you will find that life becomes lighter. You stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You stop expecting perfection, and you begin to appreciate the beauty of life as it is. You start to see that life is not about controlling every outcome, but about living fully in the present moment, trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. This doesn't mean you stop caring about your goals or dreams. On the contrary, you begin to care for them in a healthier, more balanced way. You work toward them, but you do so with a sense of freedom, knowing that your happiness is not dependent on achieving them. You create with love, but without the fear of failure or disappointment. You trust the process, and you trust yourself. Detachment also helps us build resilience by freeing us from the grip of fear. Fear often arises when we become attached to the idea of losing something we value. We fear that we won't get what we want, or that we will be left with nothing. But when we detach from our expectations, we free ourselves from the grip of fear. We no longer live in constant worry about the future or regret about the past. We simply live in the present, knowing that whatever happens, we will be okay. Resilience through detachment is not a passive state. It is an active choice to live with courage, clarity, and calm. It is the decision to trust in yourself and the flow of life, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the strength to face it. It is about being like the tree in the storm, rooted, flexible, and unafraid. In the face of adversity, you will find that detachment gives you the strength to rise above it. You will no longer be consumed by the turbulence of life. You will stand firm in your truth, knowing that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. This is the power of resilience through detachment. And when you cultivate this strength, you will find that life becomes more peaceful, more joyful, and more meaningful. Cultivating inner peace with meditation. Meditation, my friend, is the simplest and most profound way to reconnect with the true essence of your being. It is not about achieving something or becoming someone. It is about letting go, returning to a place of stillness within, and allowing the noise of the world to fade away. You may wonder, why meditate? What does sitting quietly and focusing on your breath have to do with creating peace in your life? Well, when we take time each day to sit in stillness, we create a space to observe our thoughts without being caught up in them. We don't need to fight the thoughts. We don't need to force them away. We simply observe them, like clouds drifting across the sky. This simple practice of observation is where true freedom lies. In the busy world we live in, our minds are often like turbulent waters, constantly stirred by the winds of stress, desire, and distraction. But, just like a calm lake, when you quiet the surface of your mind, the depths of your true nature begin to emerge. In those quiet moments, you can hear your inner wisdom, feel your inner peace, and rediscover your authentic self. Many people believe that meditation is difficult or requires special skills, but this is a misconception. The beauty of meditation is that it is available to everyone, and all it requires is the willingness to sit and be present. You don't need to do anything special. You don't need to change who you are. Simply be with yourself, with your breath, and with the present moment. That is enough. Start with just a few minutes each day. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and close your eyes. Breathe naturally, noticing the rise and fall of your chest. Don't try to control your breath, just observe it. When thoughts arise, and they will, don't judge them. Don't try to stop them, just notice them, and then gently bring your attention back to your breath. In the beginning, your mind will wander. It's okay. This is normal. Don't be frustrated with yourself. Even the greatest meditators experience this. The key is to return to the present moment again and again. With each return, your mind becomes a little quieter, your heart a little more open. Meditation is not about achieving a particular state of mind, but about embracing the present moment as it is. You might find peace right away, or it might take time. Be patient with yourself. Over time, with consistent practice, you will notice that the peace you find in meditation begins to spill over into your everyday life. When you meditate, you begin to see the impermanence of all things. Thoughts come and go. Emotions arise and fade away. Everything in life is in constant flux. And as you observe this, you begin to realize that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness that sees them, the stillness behind them. This understanding brings a deep sense of liberation. Imagine, for a moment, how much peace you would experience if you could carry this stillness with you throughout your day. When faced with a challenge, instead of reacting in frustration or anger, you could take a deep breath and return to the stillness within. In that moment, you would have clarity. You would have compassion. You would have the ability to respond, not out of fear or impatience, but from a place of wisdom and calm. This is the gift of meditation. It doesn't just change your state of mind in the moment. It changes how you experience the world. It brings clarity to confusion, calm to chaos, and peace to a troubled heart. Through regular meditation, you become more grounded, more centered, and more connected to the deepest parts of yourself. And remember, meditation is not just a practice for times of peace. It is also a tool for times of challenge. When life is difficult, when you feel lost or overwhelmed, meditation is a way to reconnect with the clarity and peace that resides within you. No matter how stormy the outer world becomes, you can always return to the stillness within. As you meditate, you will begin to notice the subtle ways in which your thoughts and emotions affect your actions. You will become more aware of when you are reacting from a place of fear, anger, or attachment. And in that awareness, you can choose a different response. Meditation is not just about calming the mind. It is about transforming your relationship with the world. It is about learning to live with greater compassion, wisdom, and grace. As the Buddha taught, the mind is everything. What you think you become. In meditation, you begin to take control of your thoughts. not by forcing them to stop, but by simply observing them with awareness. This awareness allows you to transform the way you experience life, and over time, it can lead to profound changes in your behavior, your relationships, and your sense of inner peace. Meditation also helps you cultivate mindfulness, which is the practice of being fully present in whatever you are doing. When you meditate, you train your mind to stay focused on the present moment, without getting lost in the past or the future. This mindfulness extends into every aspect of your life. Whether you are eating, walking, or talking with someone, you can bring the same level of presence and attention to everything you do. Through meditation, you begin to see the interconnectedness of all things. You begin to understand that everything is part of a larger whole, and that your actions, no matter how small, have an impact on the world around you. This awareness brings a deep sense of responsibility, but it also brings a deep sense of peace, knowing that you are aligned with the flow of life. The beauty of meditation is that it is not about escaping from life, but about engaging with life more fully. It is not about retreating from the world, but about embracing it with an open heart and clear mind. When you meditate, you are not running away from your problems. You are facing them with courage and wisdom. You are becoming more present, more aware, and more compassionate. So, make meditation a daily practice. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you begin. Even 5 minutes a day can bring profound benefits. As you continue to meditate, you will find that your mind becomes calmer, your heart more open, and your life more peaceful. You will find that the world, in all its beauty and challenges, is a little easier to navigate. And as you cultivate inner peace through meditation, remember this: peace is not something you have to search for outside of yourself. It is already within you, waiting to be discovered. All it takes is the willingness to stop, breathe, and listen. So, sit quietly, breathe deeply, and allow yourself to simply be. In that stillness, you will find the peace you seek, and the peace you cultivate within will transform your entire life. The role of wisdom in personal growth. In the quiet stillness of your own mind, wisdom is always there, waiting to be noticed. It's not something that can be hurried or forced. It is a calm presence, a gentle guide that helps us see things as they truly are. True wisdom does not come from books or from the opinions of others. It comes from the deep awareness of our own lives, of our own experiences. When you look at your life, how often do you really take the time to understand what is happening? Most of us are caught in a rush, constantly moving forward, trying to reach the next goal, to fix the next problem. But wisdom is different. Wisdom is not something that can be found outside of you. It's found within you. When you stop for a moment, breathe, and just listen. What does it mean to truly listen to yourself? It means letting go of all the noise, all the distractions, and simply being present. It means tuning into your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions without judgment. The moment you begin to listen, you start to hear the quiet whispers of wisdom that guide you. These whispers come in many forms, through a feeling, a thought, an insight, or even a quiet knowing deep inside. In Buddhism, wisdom is known as prajna. It's not an intellectual understanding, but a direct, intuitive knowing of reality. When you cultivate wisdom, you begin to see things clearly. You no longer get lost in the stories your mind tells you. You begin to see through the layers of confusion and illusion. It's as if a fog has lifted, and you can finally see the path ahead. Wisdom is not just about knowing what to do, it's about knowing how to be. It's about understanding that the present moment is all we truly have. Most of our suffering comes from worrying about the future or regretting the past. But when you are wise, you understand that everything is fleeting. There is no need to rush, no need to chase after something that is always just out of reach. Instead, you learn to live fully in the present moment. Living with wisdom means accepting life as it is, without trying to force things to be different. This doesn't mean you stop trying or stop working towards your goals. It means you stop fighting against the flow of life. You accept what comes, and you meet each moment with openness and understanding. When you start to cultivate wisdom, you begin to understand the importance of patience. In a world that constantly urges us to hurry, patience is a quiet rebellion. It's a reminder that everything happens in its own time. Whether it's healing, growth, or success, patience allows things to unfold naturally. It teaches you to trust in the process and to believe that everything you need will come when the time is right. One of the most powerful aspects of wisdom is the ability to see things from different perspectives. It's easy to get stuck in our own way of thinking, believing that our experience is the only one that matters. But true wisdom teaches us to step outside of our own narrow view and see the world through the eyes of others. When you do this, you begin to understand that everyone is on their own unique journey. You no longer judge or criticize, but instead, you offer compassion and understanding. Wisdom also helps you navigate the challenges of life. Life is full of obstacles, but when you are wise, you know how to approach them. Instead of seeing obstacles as something to be avoided or feared, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth. Every challenge you face is a chance to learn something new, to develop more strength, and to become a better version of yourself. One of the key practices in Buddhism that helps cultivate wisdom is meditation. Through meditation, you learn to quiet the mind and observe your thoughts without getting caught up in them. You learn to see the patterns in your thinking, the habitual ways in which your mind creates suffering. Meditation allows you to detach from these patterns and gain a deeper understanding of your true nature. As you practice meditation, you begin to see the impermanence of all things. Everything in life changes, and nothing lasts forever. This understanding helps you let go of attachment, the source of much of our pain. When you are wise, you understand that attachment only leads to suffering. By letting go of your need to control and possess, you open yourself to the beauty and freedom of the present moment. Wisdom also helps you build resilience. Life can be difficult, and sometimes things don't go the way we expect. But wisdom teaches us to adapt, to find peace in the midst of chaos, and to accept that life is always in motion. Resilience comes when you accept that pain and loss are part of life. Instead of resisting them, you allow yourself to feel them, and then you let them go. You learn that even in the darkest times, there is light. Another important aspect of wisdom is knowing when to take action and when to step back. Wisdom helps you understand the right timing for everything. Sometimes, the best action is no action at all. Wisdom teaches you to listen to the subtle signals that life sends you, so you can act with clarity and purpose. Through wisdom, you also learn the value of simplicity. We often make life more complicated than it needs to be. We collect things, we chase after achievements, we get caught up in comparisons. But wisdom teaches us that happiness and peace are found in simplicity. It's in the small moments, the warmth of the sun, the sound of a bird singing, the feeling of your breath, that true contentment is found. When you cultivate wisdom, you stop looking for happiness outside of yourself. You understand that happiness is not a destination to be reached, but a state of mind to be nurtured. It's about finding peace in the present moment, regardless of external circumstances. When you are wise, you realize that you already have everything you need within you. As you continue to grow in wisdom, you start to see the interconnectedness of all things. Nothing exists in isolation. Every person, every event, every experience is part of a larger whole. This realization brings with it a deep sense of gratitude and humility. You begin to see that everything in your life is a reflection of your own choices, and you take full responsibility for the path you walk. Wisdom also teaches you to embrace uncertainty. Life is full of unknowns, and there will always be things you cannot control. But instead of fearing the unknown, wisdom helps you to embrace it with curiosity and courage. You learn to let go of the need for certainty, and instead, you trust in the flow of life. Ultimately, wisdom is not something that you acquire once and for all. It's a lifelong practice. Every day, you have the opportunity to cultivate more wisdom. Every moment is a chance to see the world with greater clarity and compassion. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to live with wisdom. In the end, the wisdom you cultivate is the key to your personal growth. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. When you live with wisdom, you live with peace. You live with purpose. You live with love. This is the true path to transformation. Reinvesting in yourself, not through more effort or striving, but through the quiet, steady cultivation of wisdom. And when you do, you will find that your life becomes more meaningful and fulfilling than you ever thought possible. Finding joy in simplicity and contentment. In the world around us, everything seems to move faster and faster. There's always something new to achieve, something more to do, and always someone telling you that you need to be better, faster, or more successful. This can make life feel like a constant race, one where we are always chasing something, but never quite catching it. It is easy to think that happiness lies in achieving more or having more, but let us take a moment to consider. What if happiness could be found in something simpler? When you look at the sky, do you see only a backdrop for your busy day? Or do you see the endless beauty and peace it offers? When you walk through the forest, do you hurry along to your destination? Or do you pause to feel the earth beneath your feet, to breathe in the quiet stillness? What if the simple moments in life, the ones we often overlook, hold the key to finding the contentment we seek? The truth is, the more we fill our lives with distractions, the more we distance ourselves from true peace and happiness. We think we need more possessions, more experiences, more recognition, but in the constant pursuit of these things, we often lose sight of the joy that comes from within. True contentment does not come from what we have, but from how we choose to experience life. In Buddhism, we learn that contentment is not about the absence of desire, but about how we relate to our desires. It is about recognizing that all the things we chase after in life, wealth, fame, success, are temporary. They come and go like the seasons. But the peace we find in simply being present, in simply appreciating what we already have, is eternal. Simplicity is the key. When we let go of the need for more, we begin to see how much we already have. We begin to notice the beauty in the everyday things, the sound of the rain, the warmth of the sun, the comfort of a loved one's embrace. These things are always available to us, but we often miss them because we are too busy looking elsewhere. By slowing down and simplifying our lives, we open ourselves to the richness of each moment. Contentment is also about accepting what is. Life is full of challenges, but instead of resisting them or wishing they were different, we can learn to accept them with an open heart. When we stop fighting against the natural flow of life, we create space for peace to enter. This doesn't mean we don't take action or try to improve our lives, but it means we do so from a place of acceptance rather than frustration. When we are content with what we have, we are no longer constantly seeking more to fill the emptiness inside us. One of the simplest ways to find contentment is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment. When we are mindful, we stop thinking about the past or worrying about the future. We become aware of the sensations in our body, the sounds around us, and the thoughts passing through our minds. This practice helps us connect with the world in a deeper way, and it allows us to appreciate the beauty that is always present. Have you ever stopped to truly listen to the sound of your breath? It's a simple thing, yet it is the most profound experience. When you are fully present with your breath, you connect with the essence of life itself. In this moment, there is no past or future, no worries or regrets, just the simple experience of being. This is where contentment is found, in the simplicity of the breath, in the quiet moments when we are not trying to become anything other than what we are. As we practice mindfulness, we also begin to notice the small acts of kindness that surround us. We may see a stranger smile, hear a bird sing, or feel the warmth of the sun on our skin. These small things, which we often take for granted, are the true treasures of life. When we take the time to appreciate them, we find that our hearts are filled with a deep sense of gratitude and joy. This is the essence of Buddhist practice, finding joy in simplicity. The teachings encourage us to see life as it is, without the filters of desire or expectation. When we let go of the need for more, we begin to see the perfection in what already is. Life, in all its simplicity, is enough. The more we can learn to embrace this truth, the more joy we will find. Finding joy in simplicity does not mean we must live in isolation or abandon all of life's pleasures. It means learning to appreciate the simple things and letting go of the need for excess. We can enjoy a delicious meal without feeling the need to overeat. We can appreciate beauty without becoming attached to it. We can have dreams and aspirations, but we can also be content with what we have right now. In a world that constantly tells us we need more, the practice of contentment offers us a way to reconnect with what is truly valuable. When we stop chasing after things and start appreciating the present moment, we begin to realize that we are already whole. There is nothing more we need to do or become. We are enough, just as we are. Buddhism teaches that the path to happiness is not found in accumulating more, but in letting go of the need to possess. The Buddha himself renounced his life of luxury in search of a deeper truth. In doing so, he discovered that true happiness lies in simplicity, in letting go of attachment, and in embracing the present moment. This wisdom is not just for monks or spiritual seekers, it is for everyone. We all have the potential to experience true joy by simply being present with ourselves in the world around us. We don't need to go anywhere or become anything different. We just need to stop and appreciate what is.